I'll never forget that night. The smell of gasoline. The way the rain slid down my windshield like it was trying to wipe away the truth I had just witnessed. I wasn't supposed to be there. That's the crazy part. Flight from Chicago got canceled. Just my luck. Instead of heading to that tech conference in Denver, I turned around, rented a car, and drove 3 hours back home in silence. I didn't even tell Madison I was coming. Figured I'd surprise her. We'd been distant lately, and I thought maybe showing up unannounced would be romantic. Yeah, romantic. What a joke. It was 2:13 a.m. when I pulled up to our house. The lights were off. No car in the driveway. At first, I thought maybe she was sleeping. But then I saw it. Her heels, the red ones I bought her last Christmas, sitting neatly by the door. If she was home, where the hell was her car? I used my key, stepped inside. Something felt off. The house was too clean, like someone had just sprinted around scrubbing fingerprints off the walls. Her purse was gone. Her phone charger was missing. The scent of her perfume, something expensive and citrusy, hung in the air like a lie. My chest tightened. I'm not a paranoid guy, but years of working in cybersecurity made me sensitive to patterns. And this reeked of someone covering their tracks. I went into our bedroom. The bed was untouched. Too untouched. She always left a mess of pillows. Tonight, it looked like it belonged in a hotel. I opened the drawer by her side of the bed. Gone. The lingerie I'd bought her in Vegas? Gone. The emerald necklace her mom gave her? Gone. That's when I heard it. A ping. Her iPad, forgotten maybe. I picked it up, hoping to find a note, a message, something to make this make sense. Instead, I found hell. Her iCloud was logged in. There were videos. I shouldn't have opened them. I shouldn't have seen what I saw. But I did. Madison, my wife of 6 years, was laughing into the camera, wearing nothing but a smile and the pearls I gave her on our anniversary. And he was behind her, a man I'd never seen, tall, covered in tattoos, kissing her neck while she moaned his name like it was a damn prayer. Tyler, she whispered. Don't stop. My heart didn't break. It shattered like glass against concrete. I dropped the iPad. My knees buckled. I sat there on the floor like some ghost of the man I used to be, watching my whole marriage burn down in HD. I couldn't breathe. My throat was raw. My hands trembled. I felt rage first, then confusion, then a darkness I can't describe. Like a black hole opened in my chest and started swallowing everything I'd ever believed about her. This wasn't a one-time thing. There were dozens of clips, different rooms, hotels, backseats of cars, even, God help me, our living room. She brought him into my house. I stared at the last clip. It was dated 2 nights ago. They were on our kitchen counter. She was laughing. My husband's out of town again. He's too boring to notice. Then she looked into the camera and said, he still thinks I love him. I blacked out for a few seconds. When I came to, I was outside. It was raining hard. I was drenched. I didn't remember walking out. I didn't care. I got in my car and drove. I didn't know where. Just away. I didn't leave a note. Didn't call my brother. Didn't tell my best friend, Derek. I vanished. Just like that. No one knew where I was for 2 years. They thought I died. But I wasn't dead. I was planning. Madison thought she got away with it. She laughed in those videos like betrayal was a game. She didn't realize the man she broke wasn't gone. He was reborn. And now? Now, it's time for her to learn what happens when you lie to the wrong man. 2 years. That's how long I stayed in the shadows, watching her from a distance while the world thought I had disappeared. I cut off my cards, deleted my accounts, sold everything I didn't need, and built a new name for myself, somewhere between the edge of society and the center of revenge. Madison moved on fast. Too fast. Within 6 months of my disappearance, she filed for death in absentia, cried to the media about her lost husband, and wore black like she'd earned the right to mourn. The local news ran a piece on her grief. She played it well, tears and trembling lips and all. But I saw through it. She didn't skip a beat. Didn't hesitate to sell the house we built together. Didn't hesitate to buy a new place with her tattooed boy toy Tyler. Yeah, I got his full name eventually, Tyler Granger. 3 DUIs, 2 assault charges, and now shacked up in a house that was bought with insurance money meant for me. I watched them. I watched as she threw parties, hosted wine nights, posted filtered selfies on Instagram with captions like healing slowly. She played the victim while she drank $300 champagne and sat on leather furniture I paid for. But I wasn't just watching. I was collecting. Bank accounts, Text messages, secret recordings. Tyler wasn't just her lover. He was a small-time criminal with enough dirt to get him locked away for decades. Drug deals, stolen identities, money laundering through Madison's new boutique. She was laundering my blood money. I had proof. I had everything. But I didn't want justice through the courts. I wanted something messier. So I came back. Quietly. I rented an apartment under a fake name in a nearby city, started showing up in places where I knew her friends would see me, just long enough for the rumor mill to start. A blurry sighting at a gas station. A flash of someone who looked too much like me at a coffee shop. I left pieces of the puzzle scattered in plain sight. I wanted the panic to settle in slowly. I wanted her to sweat. And she did. She started asking questions. She pulled back from social media. She went to the police. "I think my husband is alive," she told them. They looked into it. They didn't find anything. But she knew. She felt it in her bones. Because the one thing Madison had always underestimated was how well I listened. And I listened to everything. Through a bug I planted in her new apartment's living room vent, I heard it all. Her fights with Tyler. Her screaming, "He's going to ruin everything." Tyler yelling, "Then we should have made sure he was really dead." That one line. That was it. That confirmed what I suspected all along. They had tried to kill me. The failed brake line on my car that year. The one the mechanic chalked up to wear and tear. Not an accident. The house fire that conveniently started in my study after I left for the airport? Not a coincidence. They wanted me gone. Not just gone, dead. So I made a choice. I wasn't going to the police. I wasn't going to make it easy. I wanted to watch it all crumble from the inside. And it started one evening, at a fundraising gala Madison was attending. Some smug event she was co-hosting with a local politician. She wore a silver gown, smiling like a queen. She didn't see me. Not right away. But Tyler did. He was at the bar, 2 fingers of whiskey in, and froze mid-sip when our eyes met. His face turned white, and his hand started shaking. I walked past him without saying a word, brushing his shoulder. I disappeared into the crowd. 10 minutes later, he dragged Madison out of the hall by the arm. They argued in the parking lot. She was yelling, slapping his chest. He pointed back toward the building, eyes wild. And I just watched from across the street. Then I sent her a message from an anonymous number. Just 3 words. "You saw me." She didn't reply, but her face said enough. Panic. Pure and delicious. The kind of panic that only comes when the dead come back to life. Let the games begin. She didn't sleep that night. I know because I was parked across the street from their townhouse. Lights off, engine cold. Around 3 a.m., she peeked through the blinds like a nervous cat. Her silhouette stood still for a long time. I wondered if she was praying. I wondered if she even remembered how. By 4, Tyler stormed out. Shirtless, barefoot, keys in hand. Slammed the door behind him like he was the victim. He jumped into his truck and peeled off like a coward. Maybe he thought he could outrun guilt. Or maybe he was looking for me. He wouldn't find me. I waited another hour, then left a small box on their porch. Wrapped it in black velvet. No note. Just a single item inside. The emerald necklace. The one she swore she lost 2 years ago, right after the first affair video was recorded. I had taken it from her jewelry drawer the night I disappeared. She never even noticed. Now it was back. The next morning, she found it. I watched her crumble from my car window, her knees hitting the porch like she'd been punched by the universe itself. She clutched the necklace to her chest and started sobbing. Real tears this time. Not for me, but for what was coming. I wanted her to break. To fall apart piece by piece, the way I had when I found out about her and Tyler. The way I had when I realized my entire marriage was a carefully packaged performance. Madison had a gift for lying. She could fake sincerity like it was in her DNA. I still remember how she looked me in the eyes during our wedding vows and said, "I'll never hurt you." Then smiled, kissed me, and probably thought about the next guy she'd drag into our bed. Over the next few days, I kept the pressure steady. Sent more anonymous texts. Screenshots from her videos. Recordings of her conversations. A photo of her new boutique's front door, taken 2 minutes before I sent it. She started unraveling. She stopped showing up to events. Closed her store for renovations. Deleted all her social media. Tyler wasn't handling it much better. He started calling his old contacts. Asked one of them for cleanup help. He was terrified. He thought I'd come back to kill him. I wasn't going to kill him. No, I wanted him to suffer. Just like me. Just like she made me suffer every single night I sat in a cheap motel room, wondering how I was dumb enough to fall in love with a woman Who could look so innocent while being such a monster? I had dreams back then. Stupid dreams. 2 kids, a beach house, maybe a dog. I used to believe in things: honor, loyalty, love. Then I married Madison, and she taught me all 3 could be faked. She taught me that anyone can pretend. Even the person who holds your face while you're sick. Even the one who moans your name while looking dead in your eyes. And that's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't just break your heart. It erases you. Makes you question if any part of your life was ever real. That's why I didn't stop at emotional games. I leaked the financial records, her fraudulent taxes, Tyler's illegal business transactions, sent them straight to the IRS, and let the avalanche begin. The feds came knocking 2 weeks later. I wasn't there to see it, but I watched the footage from a street cam I'd hacked into. They were pulled out in handcuffs. Madison in a robe, hair messy, mascara smudged. Tyler shirtless again. He never did learn to dress before crime scenes. She screamed at the officers. Said she was innocent. Said someone was framing her. And maybe she was right. But no one believed her. Because people like Madison, they burn every bridge before they realize they might need to cross back over. That night, I drove past the police station. I didn't stop. Just watched the blinking lights in the rearview mirror grow smaller. And I smiled. For the first time in years, I smiled. Her trial made local headlines. Boutique owner and partner accused in federal fraud case. The media ate it up. Former grieving widow, now accused felon. A beautiful face with a dirty secret. Madison always loved attention, but not like this. Now, her name wasn't trending for her skincare line or influencer collabs. It was plastered on crime blogs and mugshot memes. I stayed invisible. Careful. Quiet. I watched her squirm from the safety of hotel rooms, libraries, and borrowed laptops. There was something poetic about it. Me ghosting through her world while she screamed for someone to believe her. She looked more hollow every day. Eyes sunken, jaw tight. Prison was looming, and she knew it. She tried to reach out. An email came through to one of my old aliases. She must have found it while digging through my forgotten social logins. Subject line: please. I didn't open it. She didn't deserve my words. I already knew what it would say anyway. Her classic mix of fake remorse and slippery lies. Probably some lines about how she never meant to hurt me. Or how Tyler manipulated everything. Or maybe the old reliable: I was broken, and you were never there. Madison had always been a pro at shifting blame. She could cry on command and make you feel guilty for her cheating on you. I used to fall for it. Back when I was stupid. Back when I thought love meant forgiving everything. But I wasn't that man anymore. I was the storm she never saw coming. Tyler tried to take a plea deal. Of course he did. He wasn't built for loyalty. The second the pressure came down, he folded like wet cardboard. Threw Madison under the bus so hard, she barely saw it coming. He told the feds everything. How she coached him on the schemes, used my death benefits to cover up their crimes. How she used the boutique to launder dirty cash from his old gang ties. She sat there in court, jaw clenched, trying to look shocked. But the jury saw through it. I could tell. You can't hide when you're that kind of cold. Then came the final day. I walked into the courthouse wearing a suit, hair buzzed, beard thick, sunglasses on. No one recognized me, not even her. I sat in the back row as she took the stand in her own defense. She looked around nervously, her voice shaky, rehearsed. And then, right before the defense rested, she saw me. It was just a flicker, her eyes landing on mine, the slightest tremble in her lips, like the dead had walked through the doors. I didn't blink. She almost dropped her water. She stammered through the last sentence of her testimony. The prosecutor gave her a look that said everything: you're screwed. After court adjourned, I left without a word. I didn't need to say anything. Her sentence came down a month later. 7 years in prison, no parole. Tyler got 5. She lost everything. The boutique, the house, the cars, her reputation. And still, I didn't feel finished. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about cleansing. The man who loved her? He died in that bedroom, watching her beg another man to touch her like I never could. The man who vanished? He was reborn in every sleepless night, every moment spent alone, building the case, sharpening the blade. Now I was just free. I bought a cabin 3 states away. No phone, no internet, just quiet. Sometimes I wake up and think I still hear her laugh echoing in the hallway. But it fades. Sometimes I wonder if she thinks of me in that cell. I hope she does. I hope every night she lies in that stiff bed and wonders where it all went wrong. And I hope she knows. I didn't disappear because I was weak. I disappeared so I could come back stronger. And now, she can rot in silence. 3 months after her sentencing, I got a letter. No return address. Just my name, written in handwriting I knew too damn well, like a ghost reaching out of a grave I buried with my own hands. I didn't open it right away. Let it sit on the kitchen counter of my cabin for days. Every time I passed it, I felt something crawl beneath my skin. A sickness, like she had found a way to invade my peace even from behind bars. On the 7th day, I poured a glass of bourbon, lit a fire, and finally opened it. It started with her usual manipulation. I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from, but I can't sit in this place without trying to make you understand. I stopped reading after the first paragraph. She didn't write to apologize. She wrote to excuse. To paint herself as a woman who was lost, broken, confused. Said she got swept up in something dark. Said I wasn't emotionally present, and she wasn't strong enough to resist temptation. Same song, different verse. I folded the letter, tossed it into the fire, and watched her words burn to ash. Felt better than I thought it would. She didn't get it. She never would. It was never about the cheating, not really. It was about the way she laughed about it. The way she brought him into our home, used my toothbrush to wipe lipstick off her neck after he left. The way she wore my hoodie while climbing into another man's lap. It was the disrespect. The casual, careless way she treated my heart like it was a prop in her little drama. I wasn't mad anymore. Not in the way I used to be. Rage had given way to something colder. Quieter. A kind of peace that only comes after you burn every bridge, salt the ground, and walk away barefoot through the flames. One night, in the dead of winter, I drove to her old family lake house. The one we used to visit in the early days, when we'd pretend we were going to build a life that meant something. I broke in through the back. Everything was exactly as we'd left it, dusty but untouched. I stood in the living room, staring at the fireplace we once made love in front of, and thought about how different life could have been if she'd just told the truth. Then I laughed, because the truth was, I never really knew her. I knew the mask, the version of her she let me fall for. The sweet girl who kissed my forehead when I was sick, who cried at dumb rom-coms, who said, "I'll always be yours." But behind that version was someone else entirely, calculated, selfish, addicted to attention. I walked through every room in silence, left a single rose on the nightstand, just because. Then I walked out and never went back. Weeks passed. I cut more ties, got a new name, found remote work fixing code for companies I didn't care about, bought a dog, named her Clara, after the only woman who ever loved me right, my grandmother. Clara doesn't lie. She doesn't cheat. She just sits next to me on the porch while I drink coffee and watch the sun rise over the lake. Sometimes that's all I need. But sometimes, late at night, I think about what could have been. I wonder if there's a universe where Madison stayed faithful, where we raised kids and fought about laundry and got old together. But that universe isn't mine. In mine, I vanished and came back with fire in my veins. No more lies, no more second chances, and no more Madison. Spring came late that year. The snow lingered on the pine branches longer than it should have, like even the earth wanted to hold on to silence a little longer. I found myself staring at the same lake every morning, the same ripples, the same wind through the trees. But something inside me had changed. I wasn't just a man rebuilding after betrayal anymore. I was someone who'd learned what it meant to let go, not forgive, never forgive, but release. Like letting a wound scar over instead of bleeding out every night. Then, one morning, Clara barked. She never barked unless something felt off. I opened the door, half expecting a deer or a stray fox. Instead, there was a car at the end of the gravel road. A rental. I knew it was a rental because it had that too clean shine, like it didn't belong in the woods. Then I saw her. Dark sunglasses, blonde hair tied back, standing like she didn't know whether to come forward or run. I didn't move. She took 3 steps. I still didn't move. Then she stopped and took off her glasses. It wasn't Madison. It was her sister, Aubrey. We hadn't spoken since the day of the wedding. She always seemed different from Madison. Sharper, colder, more aware of her sister's demons, but too afraid to call them out. She looked thinner, tired, worn. "I had to find you," she said. "She's getting out early. 5 years, shaved to 3 for good behavior." I didn't flinch. "She'll look for you," she added. She's been asking about you. Every month. Wrote me letters. Sent them back when I didn't respond. I nodded slowly. Why are you telling me this? Aubrey looked down. Because I want you to be ready. And because I think she doesn't regret what she did. She regrets getting caught. That made me chuckle. Short. Bitter. Figures. She always envied you, she said. The way you could disappear. The way you didn't need her to survive. I didn't answer. You know she's going to come back, right? Aubrey continued. She thinks she can explain everything. Spin it like she always does. She doesn't understand that it's over. No, I said. She doesn't understand much. Aubrey handed me an envelope. She sent this to my house. I didn't open it. Figured you might want to throw it in the fire yourself. I took it without a word. She looked at Clara, then at me. You're not the same man, she whispered. I know. She turned and walked away without another word. When she drove off, I held the envelope for a long time. Same writing, same curves in the letters, even the way she dotted her eyes with small hearts. I walked inside, lit the fire, but I didn't throw the letter in. Not yet. I wanted to see what she thought would work, what her angle was now. I opened it. 3 lines. I still see you in my dreams. You never talk. You just stare. Please come find me before I forget what real love felt like. No apology. No accountability. Just more of the same poison, wrapped in nostalgia. I fed the letter to the flames. Watched it curl into black and disappear. She could dream of me all she wanted. But the man she knew? He's gone. And I'm not coming back. Summer crept in without permission. The lake warmed, the wind softened, and the nights stopped biting my skin. Clara spent more time outside, stretched out in the grass, tongue out, free. I tried to mimic that peace, slow walks, quiet meals, pages of books I barely read. But in the back of my mind, the clock was ticking. She was getting out in August. I didn't tell anyone. There wasn't anyone left to tell. My brother moved to Alaska. Derek got married. I was a name on no one's list, a photo in no one's wallet. I liked it that way. Then, on the first Monday of June, I got a voicemail. Blocked number. But her voice was unmistakable. Hey, if this is you, if this number still works, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I know that doesn't change anything. I know I'm the last person you want to hear from. But I'm different now. Prison changed me. I think about you every day. I'll be out soon. I hope maybe we can talk. I never stopped loving you. Click. I replayed it. Twice. Not because I missed her. Because I wanted to be sure I was hearing desperation, not remorse. She was already planting the seed. Setting up her return like a grand entrance, the phoenix out of flames. She wanted a reunion. A second chance. A story to tell. But this wasn't a movie. This wasn't redemption. This was war. I didn't block the number. I let it sit. Let her think maybe she still had some power. That was the game now. Let her believe. Let her walk toward the trap with a smile on her face. In July, I started making plans. I rented a house in a small town not far from the one we used to live in. Just big enough for her to find me if she was trying. I made sure the utilities were in a name close enough to my original that it could be found if someone was looking through old habits. She would think it was fate. I filled the house with traces of my old life. Books she once bought me. A few photos of us back when we were pretending. I even added one of her stupid mugs to the kitchen cabinet. The one that said, I woke up like this, in pink letters. I wanted her to feel welcome. I wanted her to feel home. Because when she stepped through that door, believing I'd let her back in, that's when it would all come crashing down. See, I'd already spoken to the right people. The detective she tried to manipulate during the investigation, he owed me a favor. I had audio clips, video backups, things never used in trial, things I kept tucked away like knives in a drawer. The moment she tried to gaslight her way back into my life, I'd release everything. To the press, to the victims of the fraud, to her family, the ones who still thought she was misunderstood. Let the world see what I saw. Let her be naked in front of everyone, just like she was in those videos, moaning another man's name in my house. But this time, there'd be no pleasure. Only exposure. Only truth. And the truth is, some people don't change. They just get better at hiding. So I waited. Patient. Focused. She would come. She always did. She came on a Wednesday. Late afternoon. The sky was gray, like it knew. I was sitting on the porch of the rental house, sipping black coffee, Clara at my feet. I heard the car before I saw it, an old Honda with a cracked windshield and dents along the side. She stepped out slowly, like she was trying not to scare the ghosts. Same walk. Same perfume. Same eyes that used to look through me while pretending to see me. She froze when she saw me. Her lips parted, but no words came out. I could tell she'd practiced something on the drive over. Probably a soft voice, a broken smile. She always rehearsed her performances. I didn't say a word, just watched. She stepped forward, hands trembling. "You're really here," she whispered. I didn't think you'd actually let me find you." I gave a small nod. Not warmth, not forgiveness, just acknowledgement. Like watching a spider crawl across the floor before stepping on it. She walked up the steps. I noticed her wrist had a faint scar now. Prison had left its mark, but not enough. She was still her, just older, duller, less spark, more venom in her smile. "I've been thinking about this moment for so long," she said, voice cracking like she wanted it to sound emotional. "I know I can't undo what I did, but I want to explain. I was broken. I was scared. I thought you were gone forever, and I raised my hand. She stopped. "You're not here to explain," I said. Her lips tightened. "I already know everything," I continued. "I knew it 2 years ago. Knew it when you laughed in his arms. Knew it when you cashed in my death like a paycheck. You're not here to apologize. You're here because you've got nowhere left to go." That hit her, right in the gut. She blinked, swallowing the fake tears before they could fall. "I thought maybe we could start again. Clean slate," she said, stepping closer. "I still love you. I've always." "No," I said. Then I handed her the folder. She looked down at it, confused. Inside, copies of everything. All the files. All the recordings. A detailed timeline of her crimes, her lies, the people she ruined beyond just me. And a note at the top. "You come near me again, I go public." She opened the first page, her hands shaking. Saw the still frames of her video. Her texts. Her whispers in the dark caught on tape. "I don't want your apology," I said. "I want your distance. I want your silence. And if you don't give me that, the whole world gets to see what I've seen." She clutched the folder like it was a bomb. Because it was. Her face twisted, somewhere between rage and humiliation. The real Madison. The one behind all the smiles. She wanted to scream, to fight, to throw something. But she didn't. She knew she lost. "I loved you," she spat. "No," I said. "You loved what I gave you. What I made you look like. You never loved me." She stood there for a long time. Then she turned and walked down the steps. Got in her car. Didn't look back. I watched until her tail lights disappeared into the trees. Then I exhaled. Not out of relief, but finality. It was over. No more ghosts. No more pretending. Just silence. And silence, I've learned, is the loudest kind of freedom. That night, I took Clara down to the water. Let her run along the shore while the sun dipped behind the hills. The world felt still for the first time in years. I sat down, toes in the cold lake. And I thought about everything I'd learned. People don't always get what they deserve. But sometimes, if you're patient enough, karma lets you watch. So here's my advice. If you ever find yourself loving someone who lies with their whole body, walk away. Disappear if you have to. Let them think they won. And when they least expect it, make sure they never forget who they tried to destroy. Then walk away again. But this time for good.